Hi folks, here we have a 1995 Philco 19-inch television. And this TV is on the workbench just because it has a humball. I got this a couple days ago. Actually, a couple days of the time me filming this video at the Goodwill. And it's in pretty good condition. And it was 99 cents, or $1. And I saved it because I've gotten rid of some other TVs and stuff. And this one had a very good picture tube. However, when you turn it on, it looks like it has a humball going up through the picture on it, a humball. And unfortunately, we do not want a humball when we're watching stuff. So, I'm gonna open it up and see, because the humball does go away once it's on for a little bit, but I think it is 30 years old. Need to go through it and check for bad capacitors. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully, and everything. I can't really demonstrate it on video because it only does it when it's cold, and it was just been used. I just took it out of service so I can do this and show you. And then I will add a little video at the end or whatever of it working when we're done. And hopefully I don't break it. If I do, it's $1 and I'll just put a different TV in its spot. It stink, but it is what it is. Anywho, we got a 19-inch tube on this thing, and it's annoying. It only has volume and channel and power, no menu button. So you gotta have a remote to get to the menu. This is also a pretty low-end set, as it's all F only, which I know people don't like, but I never found any problem with all F only sets. That's what I grew up watching on. Yeah, every TV I ever grew up with never had AV on it. At least that was ever mine in the old days. And I don't see the much benefit. My Sony Trinitron in my room is all F only, and it looks fantastic. But without further ado, let's take the back off of this baby. And there she is. This thing still has a very good picture, this TV, for its age. And, I think I might have found out who made this. Or at least who made the picture tube. Yep, this thing, it's pretty dusty. Very dusty. Definitely a high owl set, but yeah, it has a very, very, very nice and bright and sharp picture. I'll let you get a better look. And if you can see right there, the picture tube is a Samsung. So I wonder if this TV is a Samsung. I would have thought NAP, or North American Philips, since that's who owned Philco. figured that more than that, but how it is, and this thing is desperately in need of a cleaning. Made in Japan. Woo! I can explain why we probably do definitely have some bad caps. Oh my land. I've been to... Ooh wee. And just because I'm dusting it maybe doesn't mean with a brush, so discharging stuff. Maybe you guys probably shouldn't, but I'm just using one hand. Oh my land, this is dusty. Woo! I've never seen a TV this dusty and still have as good a tube as it has. It's not worn out. I'd use a vacuum, but it's the best I got. This old and high hour, we need to check the caps, especially in the horizontal, vertical, and power supply. I just know that because that's high failure rates of TVs, and this thing has a gazillion hours on it. I'd like to know how many, but I don't think this many can. But boy, is this thing sooty. But even if you don't fix it, if you see TV dirty like this, it's best to clean it because dirt can become conductive, and it also that doesn't. I think it might be an instant. I also think it lets the parts get hotter. I wish this tripod didn't have feet that went out about a foot. All but it actually needed to. I could get close to this. Yeah. Talk about dusty. Probably should be wearing a mask or respirator while I'm doing this, but yeah, who cares? It's just dirt. Gotta be careful not to break stuff, especially on that yoke. Those wires. Come on, clean up, come on. Soon we get this done, but I can get this out of here. Need to get one of those blowers. electronics someday. But I don't have one. The paintbrush books. Okay, one vacuum bag, one vacuum, and this CD was definitely a vacuum cleaner. Like I said, you really should disable the and take it off the anode, but I'm checking. I used to have a tool to do it, and unfortunately, not all sets discharge the picture tube. This one does not. At least I don't believe it does. And because I don't believe it does, I ain't taking a chance. I don't know about you, but I don't like getting shocked and everything. Granted, this has got insulator on it. I have done that in the past and not gotten shocked, but this thing was just on. And unless I have to, well, I used to have, I had a makeshift way of discharging a tube, but I don't have it anymore. But anywho, this TV, except for the dust, it's not in too bad shape, but when it sets this dirty, it's got a lot of hours on it. Yeah, move that to the floor. That's why they invented the shop vac. Flat vac was made in Japan, so we really don't know. But you know, Samsung did a good job with the picture tube. I'm just looking at the back cover. Stop tint. This one still has the controls on the board for adjustments, so you don't have to have the remote to get into the service menu, because this doesn't have one. And where was this made? Made in Malaysia, so I don't really know who made this. I know Philco didn't exist. This has Philco Consumer Electronics. Yeah, this is a NAP. It's definitely a NAP. A North American Philips. Because it's got the same address as Magnavox. Knoxville, I believe, Tennessee. This is just, there would have been a set just like this, except it would have said Magnavox instead of Philips. Probably a little bit higher end model, or just so different stores. I don't know, but I think Philco was a store brand. And I'm not sure exactly who used it. I know maybe Kmart? I'm not sure. I know that Admiral, I believe, was sold by Kmart in the 90s. And I'm thinking, no, Montgomery Ward, Admiral, in the 90s. And I think Philco was sold at Kmart, but I don't know for sure. So don't quote me on that, and I don't really care enough to find out, but at the moment. But anywho, let's get this done. Come on off of here. Come on, come on, come on. It's got a little bit of bluing at the end of the electron guns, but I mean, it still has a really good picture. I thought it was like a really low hour set. That just goes to show you a good TV built well. Like I said, and unlike a lot of people, I normally don't play games on these old TVs. That's not why I buy them. Granted, I do have vintage game systems, but I just often don't. I just often don't. But this TV is used in the kitchen, or actually the dining room, and it's hooked up just to a DVD player, a Magnavox. Thanks a lot. I'm not going to be moving this too far because it's attached to the gauze, ground strap of the tube. Thank you, TV manufacturer, whoever you are who made it for Philips. It could actually be a Philips in their factory, but I don't know who the OEM is. I just know the picture tube is from Samsung, and it was made in Malaysia. Made by Samsung Malaysia. This is probably a Samsung then. TV is made in Malaysia, picture tube's from Malaysia. And yeah, I bet this is a Samsung. I'm just looking at other stuff on here to see who made it. But judging, because Philips used their own tubes. They did all the way up for many, many years. So I say this was just Samsung wanting to make a TV for one of them, and they did. Here's the board. Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to do something. Man, that desk's a lot more moving than I thought. We're gonna have to flip the TV that way, so I can get this board out and work on it. So we'll reposition the camera and everything, and I'll be right back. Hi folks, I'm back in. Unfortunately, this camera cannot zoom in or out. So that's the best I can get you, unless I don't want to be working on the TV, and unfortunately, I need to. Oh, and also, when I got this TV at this accident thrift store, I got this GE VHS camcorder for very cheap. I'd like to see if we can get it working and add to the collection. But like I said, and the rule was, one TV must go. If I get another TV, I had to get rid of another one. That was you made someone, so I got rid of the flat screen that was in the kitchen, or dining room, whatever. I don't like flat screen TVs. I do not mind using them for computer monitors and certain applications, but they're not cool. They look like the generic pieces of junk that don't last. Yes, this TV is not high definition or anything, but shoot, still looks fine to me. And I'm stubborn and hard-headed and not changing my ways. Hopefully I don't break nothing of this thing by dusting it the way I am and all that. This is not an anti-static brush, but I will resolder any connections that look kind of bad. But saying goes, be careful. These old TVs, I like fixing them, but people gotta be careful. I can always discharge the big filter caps. Bestly, and the reason I say do that is because in the Switch Power Supply, if you want to test them, you can blow up your multimeter. And if there's no caps bad, I'm not going to change any, unless they test bad, but I probably will check, but I'm going to go through it and check, because there is a humball, and a humball isn't supposed to be in there. Even if it's really minor, I want a humball in my picture. And hopefully, this TV works when I put it back together, but if it doesn't, it's not much of a loss. It's a shame. I don't like breaking anything, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, because what happened, happened. Nothing you can do about it. This is not the recommended way to discharge a capacitor. You should use a resistor. So if you need to make a power resistor, it's a lot better for the caps, and less likely to scare you when you short them out, if they have a charge in them. This is mainly, the TV mainly works, it's just, I don't know, ever since I blew up my Trinitron because I didn't change the capacitor when it had symptoms, I'm a little bit more wanting to do this. And that you won't, and the TV I'm referring to is actually on a different YouTube channel that I used to have, which I don't have anymore, because I made this new one because the original one I had, I was too young in the beginning, because I wasn't old enough. and I only uploaded videos on there periodically, and that was Ratchet 5500 videos. So if you ever see any videos from that YouTube channel, that's me. Or if you want to go watch some of my older videos I made, I do not really like them too well, those older videos, because I just used a phone and I did a real sloppy job a lot of the time. And I'm trying to do better. That's why I have a better setup. And I also actually try to upload more videos here. The other channel is, I'll leave the videos up there of me working on old stuff, the old Ratchet 5500 videos, but let's turn this multimeter on. Old Klein. Volts. What? That was an expensive multimeter, and it's already starting to fail. Modern tools stink. Or suck, or whatever you want to say. That's not good, though. It means the thing's going bad. I won't buy another Klein because it's just expensive, and they're not any well made than other ones. Yeah, that's got like 16 millivolts. This is how you check. Yeah, we're good. I don't want to blow up my ESL tester, because you can do that. I haven't yet, but just because I yet haven't done it doesn't mean I want to today. And these places where it's gotten hot, we need to resolder. Yeah. Because if you want these things to last, and yeah, this set's old, and that Radio TV Phone net, which was on YouTube, every time he makes a video of something breaking, he always has to talk about, well, you're not going to be able to get this fly back, you're not going to be able to get these parts, we can't make it last, and all the people who collect these are going to run into problems that they can't fix them. And yes, I understand, man, that parts ain't made for most of these anymore and everything. However, enjoy them while they last. If you like something like this, use it. Yes, the parts ain't going to be available forever, but the sets he wants to work on from the 60s, 50s, the tubes and everything being forever, nothing lasts forever. And yeah, sometimes parts are not obtainable, but enjoy them while they last. They will not. And if it works, and you have fun with it, use it until it breaks and can't be used anymore. That's my philosophy. And if you can get it working again, and if you want to spend the money and get the parts, do it. But they have a mentality that it's gonna break and you're not gonna get parts for it. Well, that's with everything, even automobiles, you name it. Everything eventually ends up in the landfill, no matter what. I don't care when it was made or everything. Everything has a life. That's why I can't stand to watch his videos, because it's an hour of him just complain. If you don't want to work on this stuff, don't work on it. That's just my 2 cents. If you don't enjoy working on it, don't work on it. No one is making you work on stuff. And that's what he gives me off the vibes he gives me, that he doesn't like working on this stuff, so he complains all the time about it. And not to be mean, he is really knowledgeable, but that's not why I watched his videos. And we got some bad solder joints. Yeah, I can see where they're cracking, but we'll take care of all that. Yeah, we will. We look good here, and here. Alright. Let's get to checking some capacitors now, shall we? Yes, we shall. Sorry about this video being long and me ranting a little bit about another YouTube post guy, but I just kind of have to give my 2 cents. I don't like what's not encouraging? Be encouraging, whatever the thing is, making people feel like, oh, I shouldn't save this stuff and use it. And he also calls all these TVs black plastic crap. This TV is 30 years old, and yet it still produces a picture. A very good picture. And if this is the first time this thing's ever been worked on, and it's not even broken, it just needs a tune-up. It might not even have bad cap. It could just be a cracked solder joint. And if that's the case, good on Samsung, whoever made this. These TVs were never built to last this long. People don't know this, but all TVs were meant for 10 years of use. That was the desired lifespan, always. But they've always lasted longer than that because they were overbuilt. Come on, stay at 0, you. And that stupid ESR tester with leads so short that you feel like you got your ball and chain on you. Come on, make good connection. That's what we want to see. On a main filter cap, it should never have any more than 0.0 ohms, unless it's shorted. Or it could be shorted, and then that's bad. It would read 0. But the hum, it's not humming out of the speaker and everything, so I'm not going to say that's bad. But, anywho, it probably needs to be checked. It's hard to get a good connection on this thing. 0.00, I'm happy with that. 0.11. Well, I need to go get the ESR chart, so I'll be right back, folks. Okay, folks. Beauty of having 2 monitors on your computer. So you can have one of your viewfinder, because that's how this stuff is recorded, and one for the ESR chart. So we can use both of them. Okay, so let me see. That was 1 ohm. What was it? 10 microfarad at what voltage? I always have to do this to you. Yeah, they could make it so I could just read it. 250 volt. Wow. $250 volt. We're doing good. I think it needs to be in DC. Yep, only 14 millivolts. I don't have to worry about 1,000 ESR engagement, tester engagement. That'd be real bad. Especially for what these things cost. I'd be crying. You never seen me cry yet on video, but yeah, I would if I blew this thing up. 0.27. That was a 33 at 250 volt. I don't think it's bad. If I don't believe that's what it said. I always have to make sure because this thing does not. 2 point. Yeah, that's good. 7. And what's that cap? Actually. Why? And put the cap in the right way so people can actually read it. I don't know, that just looks kind of high. But, depends what voltage it is. 10 microfarad can be kind of high. I say it's good. 0.15. 100. That's 35 volt. 135 volt. Looks good to me. Ooh. 100 volt. Denmark were fair. What was it? Yeah, it was fine. It might not have any bad caps. It could just be bad solder joints, and that can cause all sorts of problems too. And I'm fine with fixing just bad solder joints. It needed to be done. But while I'm in here, I wanted to check to see if it was a bad cap because of the way it was acting. Like 160 volt at 22 microfarad. So that one measures. And what cap is that again? Find it underneath. It's that one. I'm gonna see what it says again, but I have a problem with that. $1.2. $106.22 and 160. And they all seem to be good, so I ain't gonna go through all the caps in here. Just not gonna. Because they're not bad. And they also could just be a signal. So, even though we have a humball, the main filter cap and all that was still good. So, I think it's just bad solder joints, which, may not have been as exciting for some people, but still, I really couldn't show you on camera because it wasn't that bad. But when it was cold, you could tell, like, the picture when it, like this, a little bit of a ball went through it. Really minor. But it came and kind of went, and I just see a lot of bad solder joints, so I'm just going to fix these solder joints, put it back together, and if it fails with a powder fault, we'll fix it. But I've checked every capacitor, basically, that would be in that section that is going to blow stuff up. Yeah, I could go check every cap in here, but since the TV has a really good picture, I don't think it's necessary. I know it's 95, but I did check the caps that were close to heat sinks and everything, and they're testing way beyond spec. They're testing as good as if I took a new one out, because I know what I've used enough of caps, and I know that they're not bad. So, but I do see some bad solder joints. I don't know if I can get them on camera that well, but let's see if I can point to them. Like, that one looks really bad there. It looks questionable. There's a lot of joints on here where the power resistors are bad, so let's get the soldering iron. Gotta move this back out a little bit. Well, Molly could be more, but I don't. Section, I do not see any mold at all. It looks bad. Pretty good shape. I say we're technically done. We'll see if I broke it or not. Hope not. But first, more cleaning. The worst one I've ever seen was a Zenith. Now, it was pretty bad. However, this one is not as bad as it could be. There goes the dogs. Dogs. Everything is always noisy when you're trying to film a video. It's like the dogs and everything feel like need to ruin everything. That one dog is my Corgi. Love him, but he does not know the meaning of "be quiet, buddy." Speaker's in. That was a good sign. Well, this is really just an analysis, because there was nothing actually broken on it. Which is, I'm not complaining. And I believe this was secretly a Samsung. Just a coil, it really doesn't matter which way it goes on. And I got the TV set all turned around. And I put it back together. Because, let's see if it still works. Oh no, 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 no! Dang cold. Need to get a remote for it. That's a good sign. It's a good sign. It didn't blow up. Smoke test. Nice and sharp picture. See, works still. Well, I know that wasn't the most exciting thing in the world, but we still got to look at an old Philco TV. Yeah, mainly cleaned it out, checked for capacitors that might have been bad, and we soldered bad solder joints, and hopefully it'll be reliable for a while and I'll get some use out of this baby, because it's kind of a nice TV. And like I said, I do not consider TV, RF only TVs, black plastic crap. If you saw how much dust and dirt was in this thing, it's a lot. That was a lot. That means this is a high owl set, and I don't know if it conveyed well on the camera, but it was very sharp and bright. That is impressive, and it needs to be commended on that. If a new flat screen can last this long and still work, I'll be amazed. Flat screen will have vinegar syndrome and fall apart, and there won't be any of these flat screen monitors to remember. If you want to call something black plastic crap, I call it flat plastic crap. FPC, flat plastic crap. That's the new thing. So that's what flat screens are, flat plastic crap. Not because they have picture quality. Yeah, a flat screen will beat this any day of the week over picture quality. However, what about build quality? What about not being built to be obsolete right from the factory? What about a TV that doesn't require internet? What about a TV that is not smaller than the user? I absolutely despise small TVs. I hate them a lot. I'd rather, and I can turn any TV into a smart TV, including this one. And for you folks who want to know how you hook up a Philco anything to one of these TVs, I'll show you. Okay, if you guys want to hook up anything modern to a TV like this, mind you, the aspect ratio will probably be wonky, but there's a few solutions. One, which you can get for a few bucks on the internet, is one of these babies. An HDMI to AV adapter. However, it will not fix the aspect ratio, so that may or may not bug you, but you can use one of these. Next up, if you have some money, you get yourself one of these babies. This is a composite HDMI in broadcaster. You've probably seen these on other YouTube channels, but what you do is you hook in your either HDMI composite source and you set this to whatever frequency you want, and it'll broadcast about a 30 to 40 foot range that can be picked up on any TV from over the beginning to even probably brand new TVs, even flat screens. But come on, man, if you're doing this to have fun with a flat screen, you're even crazier than I am. Because why would you? Just hook up with HDMI. It wouldn't make any sense to me. But then again, most people think using an old TV like this doesn't make any sense. But be that as it may, that's their opinion. So, and all that. So we have so this is boxes. And also, you can just have this thing composite to HDMI, but this thing's like laggy computer again. You can you can get one of those other boxes like this for less than half the money. So if you just want to go to HDMI to composite, get one of these. If you want to broadcast, get one of these. There's other solutions, but these it may. But you can hook anything HDMI up to this. Philco, you name it, it will work. I have done it. And I'll show you sometime on another TV. But that's not going to be today. Because I got to get this back up stairs and hook back up. Because I have other things I have to get done today, like editing this video. And I'm going to not put in the case back on because it's the same thing but in reverse. I can do it off camera and it'll be a lot easier not having the tripod in my way. Because, man, this tripod, it's annoying. But, well, that is all, folks, on the Philco TV from 1995. Hope you enjoyed. Well, here's the TV working. Unfortunately, the picture isn't best, but that's because it's being transmitted over a radio with no base. Yeah. That's the problem. This is not a really good antenna. Granted, that's the best I can get, but that's just interference. So that humble I thought I had, that wasn't actually the TV, that's just something in here is making interference, because it does it on any TV. So I know it's not the best, but as you can see, the TV does work. It looks really washed out on camera, but it's not. But that's the problem with filming a CRT. They look awful on camera, but in real life they look pretty good. I can't run this really long.
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I care for Pat damnably, but...
That's all I'm going to play. Because of copyright. So I was watching Perot. Well, that was a little quick demonstration showing that the TV does work. I will have a better one later when well, it goes and it's all hooked up correctly and not jankily like it is now. Well, all in good time. So, that's all, folks.